The tech wreck looks likely to continue on the NASDAQ 100 version of the Sunday night charts. Let's get right into this. And what do we see? Let's take a look at the breadth indicators, because the percentage of NASDAQ 100 stocks above their 50-day moving average is down to 18%. Not quite the lowest level we've seen in last year. But notice this last happened back in October. It was a bottom. Looking back here, we see in March, what does that indicate? A bottom. Again, from a technical picture, so far, you're going to see traders want to buy this. And there's indications that they are, but they're just getting slammed back down. Let's take a look at the percentage of the NASDAQ 100 stocks above their 200-day moving average, down to 39%, the lowest level in a year. And you can see that's at a -3 standard deviation level, screaming potential buy signal, at least in the short term. But in the big picture, is that a buy or not? Well, let's go to the historical chart, because I like seeing this in perspective and where it lies in terms of a longer term range. And what do we see here? It is down to 39%. Telling us it could slip a little bit lower, but it needs to hold here, and it desperately needs to hold here. There's been cases where it slipped a little bit below here, but around this level is it. And if not, well, now you're looking at a deeper sell-off building. And of course, there's a lot of people that will get flushed out of that trade. And here we can see, if we look at the percentage of NASDAQ 100 stocks advancing versus declining, or minus declining, it's down to minus 67%. So you can see that people are definitely coming in trying to buy this dip and just getting steamrolled. But it's telling you, again, there's all kinds of indicators suggesting from a technical perspective, you see it on this advanced decline, that there are bottoms here. Now, they may be short-term bottoms, but it's telling you a bottom is likely coming here, and traders are all over that. And we know that because another piece of data we can look at is a relative strength indicator, now at the lowest level in the last year. And again, previously, oversold levels like this have been buying opportunities, and that's why you see people come in on the advancers and decliners trying to buy that dip, trying to catch a falling knife. But for those of you who don't like trying to catch a falling knife, that would prefer something a little bit slower, well, look at the MACD. You've got your moving average crossover. Do we see a sign of it bottoming just yet? No, but I know many of you are watching this, waiting to see the black line start to curve up and then make that crossover to signal your buying opportunity. Yeah, it's a little bit lagged, but at that point, you know with some certainty that there's more likely a bottom in, and that's a smarter play than catching a knife. So a little early yet on this call for the MACD, but watch it, traders attempt to come in and to buy this. Let's look at the momentum signals, because now we see the 21, 50, and 100-day all turning lower. Momentum still remains bearish. Well, all the key moving averages and the 1 and 3 month momentum are negative. Again, suggesting that this may just be a correction, and you look at the 6, 9, and 12-month trend are still positive. So it's not saying, this is over yet, but it could be. And let's go look at the charts first. We'll come back to Momentum Timer Pro here in a moment. Let's take a look at QQQ, blowing right through its 6-month volume profile. Now, why is this significant? Well, let's zoom out for a moment, because you can see all this people that bought in here the last 6 months over the weekend are looking at their accounts and seeing a negative. They're losing money. If they bought all these positions in here, they're now upside down. And what happens from a technical perspective is when people start to lose money, they start to push the sell button. So the reason we're zooming out to the 1-year chart is because you can see over the last 1 year, that's the heaviest volume spot too. Now, where you see this little gap here, this means the NASDAQ 100 could just blow through this little short spot here and then firm up into some support, perhaps here at the 340 range. Let's go out to the 2-year chart, and you see the heaviest volume is way below, but you can notice there's a nice chunk of volume here, so it could be very easily that we see a deeper sell-off here and then come to a halt. And that's, a potential problem, because when we look at Bitcoin, we're going to look at that in a moment. Well, it's perhaps a leading indicator. But before we get there, let's see how Momentum Timer Pro got this. 11 consecutive days of sell signals on the daily signal. So, again, if you're not on the list, I'll put a link up in the right corner. It's in the description. It's still free right now. You'll notice if you're on the 1-month signal, if you're trading a 1-month window, it's had no position. A 3 and 6 month window is still holding mid-size. And you say, well, how could it do that? Why would it do that? Well, look, it's still in an uptrend. We've seen these corrections before. The only difference is now we're below the 200-day moving average that kind of tan line there. Let's go out to the daily chart here, and you can see this is really the first time since that March bottom that we've seen it break the 200-day moving average. But is that the end of the world? No, because you've got this volume right here. Could end up being a nice correction and an opportunity. But let's take a look and overlay Bitcoin here real quick. Let's look at that. I know we don't normally look at it, but try to adapt and make some changes, because I think there's a relationship here. You see Bitcoin hit its 1 year volume profile line and broke down, and now people, again, just like the NASDAQ, are going to be looking at their charts or their statements and thinking about selling. Now, there's not a ton of support, but the next support for Bitcoin is in the low 33,000 or 32,000 range, 33,000 there. But let's overlay the QQQ over this. Let's pull that up, compare with QQQ. And what we can see as we get into the 6-month window, you notice there's a nice relationship. As one goes up, the other is, and as Bitcoin goes down, so does tech. Let's go out to the 1 year chart, and you can see, again, a similar relationship. So if you are overloaded in the NASDAQ, you maybe want to watch Bitcoin as your leading indicator. And with that, we will wrap up today's show, and I will be back soon with the next one. I'm Steve Van Metre. Thanks for watching. Bye now. The content of this video is provided as educational information only. It's not intended to provide investment or other advice. It will not to be construed as recognition or solicitation by or selling securities, financial instrument, or participate in any particular trading strategy. This video was prepared by Steve Van Metre. Person capacity. Opinions expressed in this video that do not affect the Atlas Financial Advisors Inc. or Steven Van Metre Financial.